Hello and welcome to today's broadcast. Today we are going to be talking about improving our sleep. And will intermittent fasting or can intermittent fasting be that thing that will allow us as aging women to sleep better? So welcome if you're joining us live. My name is Diane. Please take a second if you're joining us on YouTube to hit that subscribe button and make sure that you are set up for notifications just by hitting that little bell icon. And the same thing for Facebook. I always ask that you please take a second to hit that like button on my page and then make sure that you are set up to receive notifications. So again, you'll be notified and can jump on to our community chats. No worries if you can't catch us live. We post these as rebroadcasts on both locations, so you can always come back when it's more convenient for you to join the discussion in the comment section. Really quickly, I always like to introduce myself. Again, my name is Diane. I'm the creator of the online course, Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman, and this online community for today's aging woman, where we get together and discuss all of the things associated with us as aging women and all of the things that we are going through as we transition into this new season of life. So one of the biggest complaints I hear, and one of the things that I was definitely not happy with as I started going through the aging process, was insomnia. And just that inability to get a deep night's sleep. I was suffering from night sweats. I felt like I was constantly being interrupted in my sleeping time and was waking up just absolutely exhausted every morning. And so when I started intermittent fasting, I thought that it would be the cure-all for my sleep disruption. And what I found, and what I really like to teach and emphasize here in this community, is that time and consistency with intermittent fasting is really going to be the thing that's going to help us improve the quality of sleep that we're getting and our overall sleep pattern. So let me just share a couple of things that we know about intermittent fasting and sleep and why it is beneficial for us if we are feeling like we're not getting the quality of sleep or the type of sleep that we're hoping for, why intermittent fasting can be that thing that can help us. So we know that intermittent fasting does help us build a stronger circadian rhythm. So we put our bodies back on a time schedule. Oftentimes when we are not controlling our feasting windows and our fasting windows, and we are literally eating at all hours, that does throw our circadian rhythm off. And when our hormones are already out of balance, that just aids in that imbalance that we're feeling and can result in insomnia. So intermittent fasting does help build a stronger circadian rhythm with time and consistency. Remember, the time and consistency is going to be that area where we are going to see and feel the best results from something like intermittent fasting. So we want to build that stronger circadian rhythm, and we do that by creating routine eating patterns, like I said. So when we are fasting for a certain period of time and we're feasting for a designated period of time, that does allow our body hormonally to balance itself out. Thus, over time, we can build that stronger circadian rhythm. And when it's time for us to rest and time for us to sleep, our body will already be adjusted to that new sleep cycle and that new fasting and feasting cycle. So everything works together beautifully with time and consistency. And then we also know that when we are fasting long and feasting well, that contributes to a more balanced digestive system and a digestive system that is just quieter, so to speak. So it's not upset all the time. You're not putting things into your digestive system that's causing irritability, maybe some gassiness or some bloating or just digestive situations in general that are not pleasant for us. So when we are resting, that is when our digestive system is sifting through a lot of the things that we've consumed throughout the day and where our body is at work in balancing itself out. If you're putting things into your digestive system or you're overfeeding yourself, you don't allow your body the opportunity while it's sleeping to just quiet itself down and do its magic. So we want to make sure that we are feasting well also. How do we do all of this? Well, we have to start listening to our body. There is so much information out there about intermittent fasting. There's so many different philosophies on what we need to do and quick fix elixirs and remedies to how it is we improve our sleep, when all we really need to do is be comfortable in doing nothing. This is where the fasting long part comes and how this can really help us balance ourselves out. If we spend a majority of our day doing nothing and letting our body have the opportunity to sift through and utilize some of the problematic things that we have in storage, that will help aid in balancing our body out. So we want to make sure that we are allowing enough time in that fasted state for our body to utilize what we have in backup. Once we utilize what we have in backup, our body becomes so much more efficient at what it is we're doing in our feasting window. And again, paying attention to those signs and signals of what your body is telling you when you're feasting, so you can find those problem areas in some of the food that you might be consuming or the types of food that you might be consuming. And maybe they're just not working with your body chemistry any longer. So we want to make sure that we are listening to our body and knowing that we are unique to who we are as individuals. And no advice out there today is going to be cookie cutter and work for you the same way it works for someone else. You have to make sure that you are paying attention to your own sleep patterns and your sleep and waking cycles. You want to make sure that you find the right amount of hours that work for you. Just like calorie consumption, just like macronutrients, everyone has their own schedule that works best for them. The same thing holds true with your sleeping. I have found through tracking my sleep that I work best on around 7 to a 7.5 hour sleep cycle. Anything more than that, I personally start to feel very groggy and I'm not at my best. I reserve one day a week to sleep uninterrupted in the morning, meaning I don't set an alarm clock. I allow my body to sleep for as long as it naturally needs to sleep, and I wake up when I naturally wake up. Because life is busy and I have things to do, during those other 6 days, I do set an alarm clock, but I back up the time that I need to wake up to the time that I need to get to sleep, and I try to make sure that I stay between that 7 to 7.5 hour sleep window. You have to do that same research for yourself and track your sleep and find what is the best sleep window for you and where you feel most rested and most efficient. So listen to your body and how it is responding to the sleep and wake cycles that you have for yourself. You want to make sure that you stay hydrated. I always recommend making sure that you have electrolytes in your water as well, and making sure that you have enough magnesium in your system. Magnesium is one of those minerals that we tend to be deficient in, and it is a calming mineral. So it will help you sleep deeper and it will help you sleep more efficiently. So make sure that when you're getting your water in you, that you are also adding in the electrolytes that you need to make sure that you are properly hydrated. I always recommend between 100 and 150 ounces of water. When I have maybe a period of time where I don't feel like I'm getting the rest that my body requires, I often find that it's the times that I'm not tracking my water intake. So make sure you're getting enough water and that you're getting the right amount of minerals in you so that you can actually rest when you lay down at night to get your sleep. You want to also make sure that you are limiting your sugar and your processed foods and making sure that the nutrients that you are getting in your feasting window are nutrient dense. It matters. If you are getting too many sugar type of foods in your body, or you're getting too much processed food in your feasting window, especially if your feasts are at that later part of your day, it will be difficult for your body to break those down and process them away. That could be attributing to an unrestful night's sleep. So nutrient density does matter. You want to make sure that you are approaching your nutrition in a keto-like fashion, making sure that you are getting high, naturally occurring fats, moderate to low amounts of protein, and very conscious carbohydrates. And the conscious part of those carbohydrates come from how much sugar is in your carbohydrates, and are those carbohydrates a natural source of food, or are they coming from the form of processed food? It all matters, especially when you are feeling like you are not getting the quality of sleep that you are hoping to get. Things like an innocent glass of wine or a late night snack, or having just a processed food type of dinner at night could be enough to throw you out of your deep sleep pattern or your restful sleep pattern. Processed food doesn't necessarily mean that it's unhealthy, it just means that it's processed. So if you are choosing some of the healthier versions of processed food, don't don't think that that's good enough. Make sure that if you're still having some sleep problems and you've done the due diligence to figure out what ingredients are problematic for you and you're still having sleep problems, it could very easily be processed healthy foods as well. And if you want to do a test on that, just eliminate everything that's processed and go back to one ingredient type foods in your feasting at night. Also, going out to eat at a restaurant could be enough to throw you out of a deep sleep cycle or a pattern of restful night's sleep. Remember, when we're eating out, we are not in control of how that food is prepared. Even if you are, again, doing your due diligence and asking the right questions, just going out of your normal cycle of feasting can be enough to throw you out of balance. And then the last thing that I want to mention is for us women who have just general overall problems with sugar. Maybe you are insulin resistant, or you're feeling the effects of maybe that sugar buildup, and you're feeling a little bit like you're losing some memory aspect that you have going on in some of the things you have going on cognitively, or you have just been diagnosed with diabetes or pre-diabetic states, or you have just that frustration and inability to lose body fat and body weight. Those are all related to your body's problematic season of breaking down sugar and utilizing it. So it's putting more sugar in storage. That can also lead to insomnia type of bouts when you're trying to sleep, or midnight wake ups. And this is due to the fact that our body is processing everything that we've done throughout the day. And if we're constantly in that backup and storage mode, which is where most of us are when we're feeling frustrated with how our body is handling the aging process, our body has this natural just rhythm of dumping our liver from stored sugar that's in our body. That can get you wide awake and in just a total woken state about 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. It's part of our rhythm. It's part of our cleansing process. It's part of what our body does just naturally. So again, time and consistency will help take care of those types of problems as well. The more consistent you are with an intermittent fasting schedule and your fasting and your feasting times, the more consistent you are with your water intake and making sure that you're on that upper side of the 100 to 150 ounces of water, making sure that you're including your electrolytes, the more consistent you are with being very conscious in your feasting state and making those really wise choices based on how it is you want to sleep at night and limiting the things that you know are problematic to you, the more your body will rid itself of that backup, and you'll start to find that those midnight or really early morning wide awake sugar bursts that you've been suffering from will start to be eliminated, because your body just won't have that much to dump because you don't have that much in storage. These are all of the things that I went through myself when I first started going through this journey of frustration and not understanding why my body was changing the way that it was, despite the fact that I was doing all of the things that I thought was correct based on the science and the research that I was doing. Make sure you are very, very familiar with your own body and what it is that your body needs to be restful in its sleeping states, and then track it as much as you can. I use my Apple Watch to track my sleep, and this is where I found most of the problems for me, was when I was actually tracking my sleep. I use a sleep app called Auto Sleep, so it's AUTO Sleep. It's an app you can get for your Apple Watch, and it will track how many hours you're sleeping, how many hours you're restful, and how many hours of deep sleep that you are getting. What I did was I tracked the nights that I got deep sleep, and I backed into the activities that I was partaking in the day before and the day of that night's sleep. When I was not in deep sleep, I also did the same thing, and I just made tweaks and adjustments until I got more restful night sleeps than I did restless night sleeps. And then you rinse and repeat those habits and behavior until you're consistently getting those deep night sleeps. So I can track 4.5 hours of deep sleep on my Saturday to Sunday sleep bout when I just allow my body to get whatever amount of sleep it needs during that night's sleep. During the week, when I wake up with an alarm clock, I generally get about 2 to 2.5 hours of sleep if I'm making all of the correct choices for my body to ensure that I am getting the sleep that I want to get.
Deep sleep, right?
Deep sleep, yes.
Yeah.
Deep sleep in a 7 to 7.5 hour bout of sleep, I can get about 2 to 2.5 hours of deep sleep. So track it. Oftentimes you might feel like you got restless sleep, but your tracking device will let you know how your sleep actually went. So track it. It is totally worth it. And then you make decisions based on how you want that night's sleep to be beforehand. You have to do the after fact in the beginning because you won't know what's causing you to stay in that restless bout of sleep. But once you get it down, then you'll be able to make those tweaks. I often find as well that the days that I exercise, I also get much better sleep. So exercise is one of those things that will just help your body utilize some of those resources that you have available in your body's energy system, and you will have a better night's sleep when you get a regular exercise routine in for you as well. Again, exercise is that thing that's personal, so figure out what works best for you. Even yoga or Pilates or some sort of meditation can also help you get into that deep, mindful type of sleep state before you go to bed as well. I've talked here before that Michael and I also do a breathing exercise. Again, we just use our Apple Watch. We use our 4-minute breathing app every single night before we go to sleep. If I can actually make it through my 4 minutes without falling asleep, it's actually a miracle. Usually during that 4-minute breathing exercise, I get myself into a deep sleep state. So it is worth the work if you feel like maybe your sleep pattern is keeping you from the opportunity of looking and feeling your best. It's worth the research, it's worth the investigation, and then it's worth figuring out a plan that's going to work for you so that you are getting the sleep that you need. Insomnia is not a normal thing that we're supposed to go through. It is something that happens because we're interrupting our own body's natural rhythm of sleep and wake cycles. So we have to balance that out with the choices that we make throughout our day. And I'll tell you what, the sleep that I'm getting today as a 54-year-old postmenopausal woman is worth every bout of energy and research that I put into figuring out what works for me and what will allow me to have the sleep that I feel like I need. So do the work, give yourself the time and consistency once you figure it out, because that's where you're going to find the best pattern of consistency with you waking up every morning ready to face your day because you're looking and feeling your best. So it's worth the research. And again, it's up to you to figure out what works for you. I promise you, if you do research and you ask for advice, you're gonna get 100 different suggestions on what you need to do. So save yourself the time and save yourself the headache and just start doing the research for yourself. If I do this, how did I sleep that night? And if you slept great, then the things that you're doing are working for you. If you didn't sleep well, go back and consider the things that you did and see where you might be able to identify some problematic areas for you based on your own body chemistry. So I hope that helps if you're feeling frustrated about your sleep. It does take a little bit of time, just like intermittent fasting. It is not a quick fix. You're not going to fix things, just from committing to 1 week of paying attention to this. It's a lifestyle. So once you figure out what works for you, you have to incorporate that as part of your lifestyle, because as soon as you go back to doing what you were doing before, your sleep patterns will get just as interrupted as they were before. So time and consistency in establishing this lifestyle for yourself is definitely what's going to be what will pay off for you. I know we talk about this all the time, but registration is open for our August 1st course. This is where we lay the foundation for this. This is where we really help you figure out you and your body chemistry so that you can start answering these questions for yourself based on what your own individual body needs and the lifestyle that you want to create for yourself. So if you're interested in joining us for the foundational work for intermittent fasting and how you can create this as a lifestyle for yourself, registration is open for our August 1st course. I would love to have you in there with us. Once you get this foundation down, once you get all the information about how your body chemistry is working and what's going on with your hormones inside of our 3-week intermittent fasting for today's aging woman course, it's all just rinsing and repeating and time and consistency. And before you know it, you'll be loving the lifestyle that you have created for yourself. Let me jump in and see who's here today on our live community chat. If you can't catch us live, please know if you jump into the comment section after we post this as a rebroadcast, I always go back and make sure that I read your comments and answer you as well. So please know that we are here for you if you have any questions or you're feeling frustrated about what's going on with you and your body as an aging woman. Sherry girl, it's good to see you. Girlfriend, haven't seen you for a while. Angie, good to have you with us. Thanks for tagging your friend. Sherry, I got lots to catch up on, but girlfriend, I'm down 21 pounds. Loving intermittent fasting and keto lifestyle. Girlfriend, good for you. 21 pounds is no joke. And you've only been with us, I think, what, 5 weeks now? So you're actually crushing it. And it does pay off to do the work on you. One thing I do not do and will not do here in this community is tell you what to do based on what I do. I offer suggestions on my own personal experience, but I really, really want you to ask yourself some of these tough questions. And what is it that I'm doing that's causing this to happen in my body? And once you figure that out for you, I'll tell you what, it's the most empowering feeling to have, and it is the best way to live your life. You will always be in the power seat once you start learning how to identify your own body chemistry and make very, very informed decisions based on what you need for you. So Sherry girl, you're doing a great job for sure. One of my girlfriends, Dee Fusco, will be joining you in your August class. Oh yes, thank you so much for the recommendation. It's always fun when you have your girlfriends living the same kind of lifestyle you're living. So I appreciate you sending her our way, and I promise you I will take really good care of her. Lori Ann, June 2020 graduate, good to have you with us, girlfriend. Sue, time and consistency is my motto these days. Yeah, for sure. It has to be our motto always, right? Anything that we do over time with consistency will yield us the best results with anything that we do in our life. But this lifestyle is one that proves that it works every single time. What are the electrolytes in water? Joy, I highly recommend magnesium first and foremost. Sodium, if you can get it, is always great, whether you get it in your water or just by supplementing the food that you're consuming. Potassium and calcium are also great aspects of the electrolyte system as well. Teresa, I really need to hear this information and we'll listen to this again and take notes. Yeah, Teresa, I did today's talk because you asked me to do that. So with you, I think it's just going to be those tweaks for sure. And then just managing your sleep when you are sleeping and making those fine tuning tweaks for sure. And you'll get yourself there. It's just time and consistency for sure. Pam, you are so welcome. Mary, can I drink grapefruit juice during my fasting time? Grapefruit juice is a food, and anything that you put in your body during your fasting time is not fasting, it's feasting. So grapefruit juice should be one of those things that you reserve for feasting for sure. Okay, so let's see who we got here on YouTube. I'll answer all your questions and comments, and then we will let you guys go about your day. Susie from Miami, happy Monday, girlfriend. Denise, May 2020 IF grad and current midlife mindset shift course student. Wanda, I'm a February 2020 graduate. I'm maintaining a 20-hour fast but need to tweak my feasting. Dealing with many stressful situations right now, so my sleep is suffering. Yeah, and stress is another one of those things that we have to pay really close attention to, and also our pre-sleep habits, right? So, it's always recommended that you're not watching TV right before you go to bed, and you're making sure that all your screens are down. And so if you think that that might be a problem for you as well, then you want to make sure that you build that into your habit layering as your nighttime routine and giving yourself an opportunity to just kind of decompress from those types of habits as well. And then, yes, stress is also those things that can keep us awake at night. So if your feasting patterns and habits have changed because of stress, now you've got that double negative going at you, and how that's going to affect your sleep as well. So I would say fix the food aspect of that first, and then start managing the stress as well. The food part, I think, is going to be the one that's going to be the most helpful part, and then you'll be able to manage your stress a little differently. I also say, since you're in our midlife mindset shift course, make sure when you're creating your I am statements that you're using those kind of statements to help you manage stress as well. And I always say, like, create a statement that goes along the lines of something like, I'm a stress walker, or I am a stress manager, or I am a stress something other than stress eater, and that will help your mindset change how it is that you interact with stress and the activities that you partake in. Heather, January 2020 course. Fasting has dramatically improved my flashing, which is a game changer in good sleep. Awesome. I'm so glad that you are getting some good sleep. Margaret, what product do you use for electrolytes? I just drink this kind of water. It's Mountain Valley spring water. It has magnesium, potassium, and calcium in it. And then I supplement sodium in just about everything I eat during my feasting window. So make sure I get enough of that as well. Ask Dr. Bonnie, hello girlfriend. Wanda, wow, I average 60 to 90 minutes of deep sleep. I need to work on this. Well, maybe 60 to 90 is enough for you. You don't know. So again, don't compare yourself to others. That just seems to be where I find my best sleep, is that 2 to 2.5 hours of deep sleep, and then the 4 to 4.5 on the Saturday to Sunday when I just kind of let myself sleep for more hours. So the more hours I sleep, I just average more deep sleep because I just have more time in a sleep state. So, just work on it a little bit. Don't stress out about it. It might just take some time to build up that deeper sleep pattern for you as well. Denise, thank you. I have had a huge deep sleep disturbance for years. This video has given me hope and another reason to stick with my program. Yeah, for sure, Denise. Stick with it. If sleep is a priority for you, it's totally worth it for sure. So make sure you understand your why for doing this as well, right? So I love a deep sleep. I wake up in the morning and I feel fantastic. And so make sure you have that why of why this is important to you so that you will be able to stick with the investigative part of this and the research part of it long enough to see yourself to the end result for sure. Anita, June 2020 graduate and taking a midlife mindset shift course now. I need to work on my deep sleep also. I usually get only a little over an hour a night. Yeah, so if you feel like you need more, then definitely work on it. I would cut back a little bit maybe on that feasting window that you have late at night. Michael and I have noticed that when we get, what would you say, like about 4 or 5 hours of fasting in before we go to sleep, we get deeper, more restful sleep. So we've moved our feasting time back a little bit. Yeah, it makes a huge difference for us for sure. And then the nights that we're very conscious about our carbohydrate intake, we get better sleep too. So usually just having vegetables as our carbs at night works a lot better for us than if we have one of those nights where we do like chips and salsa or one of those kind of things, albeit healthy chips and salsa. It's still that processed carb that might be keeping us from getting that.
You can't kid yourself with drinking too.
Yeah, and a glass of wine will knock you out for sure, probably for a couple of days. Okay, let's see, where did I end up? Karen, I just started taking a magnesium supplement. I drink approximately 100 ounces of water each day, but I was still having leg cramps at night and my sleep hasn't been good lately. Yeah, maybe break your magnesium supplement up throughout the day. That might help too, like take lower doses throughout the day so you can kind of spread it out. Magnesium bath also really helps with leg cramps and really getting into that deeper sleep as well. So maybe doing an Epsom salt bath before you go to bed a couple nights a week might help with that as well. I did that in the beginning also, and use a magnesium lotion also. Anything that you put on, in, or around your skin, remember your skin's going to take that in as a supplement as well. So do a little research on that and see if you can find something that might help you there. And then ask Dr. Bonnie, hi Di, how do we go back and access our class material from a previous class? You just go to www.fortoday'sagingwoman.com/login, log into your account, and if you have access to your course content still, it should be there. And then Lori, hello, I sleep better since IF, but nightly bathroom trips are still a problem. Yeah, and that just might be you, right? So that might just be that thing that's part of who you are, and waking up in the middle of the night to have to go to the bathroom.
I found because I have the same issue, I found spreading that water out throughout the day helps me, and I don't have to get up as much.
Okay, so Lori, Michael said he spreads his water out more deliberately throughout the day and doesn't have as much at the end of the night, and that's helped him from getting up in the middle of the night to sleep. I personally can have an entire 25-ounce bottle of water right before bed, and I sleep until I wake up. So again, that's personal to you and how your body is processing that water and, excreting it out of your body. So maybe try to get the majority of your water in before dinner time and have a little less at night and see if that helps with that one for you. And then Aaron, great idea, trying to push feasting window earlier. I end at 7:30, which is only a couple hours before bed. Yeah, so try to knock it back to about 5:30 and see how that works for you. And sometimes flip-flopping, oftentimes we have a light break fast and then we have a heavier end feast meal, right? And then we go right into our next fast. So maybe switching that and having your heavier meal as your breakfast, and then maybe a light snack at around the later time of your evening, even maybe 5:30 or 7:30, and then see if that helps you sleep, or maybe even combining them both together and having like a one meal a day type of experience for just a few days and see if that changes things for you too. So just experiment with it until you find a nice, happy place for you. And then Brenda made it. It's July, August 2019. Good to have you with us, Brenda. Haven't seen you in a while. And then Lori said thank you to you, Michael. So again, remember that water thing and processing water and excreting the toxins and how your body is going to process the water that you intake is also a personal thing. Not everyone handles that in the same way. I can take on large amounts of water and I tend to be fine, even later at night, where Michael has a different experience than I do. So again, figure your thing out and then just back your water up into the earlier part of your day and see if that helps. Where do you get the Mountain Valley? Joy, we get our Mountain Valley delivered to us here in Texas from a company called The Water Event. You can go to their website and see, I know they just acquired a bunch of different water companies. So go to the Water Event website and see if maybe they deliver in your area. If not, go to the Mountain Valley website and find out who their delivery services are in your area and see if you can schedule a delivery. We found that that's the easiest way to do that for us for sure. And then Jennifer, so glad I finally got to catch you live. March 2020 graduate and never going back. IF is my solution. Thank you for being such a light every week. You're so inspiring and help me stay on track. Does the Pellegrino give all of the electrolytes I need? I believe, and I don't have this memorized, but
it's missing one.
Yeah, I think it's missing one of the electrolytes, but it does have sodium where this does not. So I know that San Pellegrino has sodium. So the best way to figure out what electrolytes are in the water that you're choosing to drink is go to their actual website and just go to their ingredients listing. They have to list what the ingredients are for their particular water. So just go to the website and then check it out and then find the one that mixes and matches with you the best. We always have a combination of different waters in our house. So we have this one. We have this one because it does provide the three that we want the most. And it comes in a flat and a sparkling. I like to start my day with sparkling water. It just helps me, kind of trick my hunger hormones a little bit. We teach that inside the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course. I am not a big fan of San Pellegrino, but I'll drink it if it's available. And then we have also LaCroix that we drink. I think this is probably going to have the least amount of electrolytes in it, but it does break up the dullness of just plain water. I just recommend that if you drink a flavored sparkling water, that you save it for your feasting window, because for a lot of us who are insulin resistant, this flavor will knock you out of a clean healing state. We can't afford to do that in the beginning stages of intermittent fasting. So keep it clean if you're looking to heal yourself with fasting for sure, especially in the beginning. My Mountain Valley water is delivered by Crystal Rock. Yeah, so everywhere you live will have a different water delivery system. So go to the Mountain Valley site, look for delivery companies in your area and just schedule yourself a delivery. I'm telling you, it is so nice. We're having a delivery on Thursday. We get the 5-gallon bottles now when we refill insulated water bottles. We have our bottles that we carry around with us when we're like out running around. And then we also have like sports bottles for our kids. We have water bottles in our gym. It's the only water we really, really drink most consistently. So it's worth it if you can get it delivered in your area for sure. Okay, any other questions or comments about your sleep? It is worth doing the research. It is worth figuring out your body's rhythm. It's worth figuring out what does work and doesn't work for you. Once you get all that information together, then you have to test it out. And the best way to test it out, I always say, is to track it. Figure out what combination of things are working for you, and then really have an honest conversation with yourself about what's not working for you and what do you want more, the thing or the sleep. And then you have to have those really honest conversations with yourself about how frequently you're going to let things in your window that are going to disturb your sleep. Every time I have a bad night's sleep or a bout of restless sleep, or I'm not getting deep sleep, I always pinpoint it back to a decision I made during my feasting window. Sometimes that's okay, sometimes it's not okay. And you have to just learn from that and then just pick yourself back up and make a better decision for the next night. There is nothing about this that's going to be necessarily right or wrong as a hard and fast rule. It's information. And what you do with that information is going to be personal to you and what it is that you want in the end of all of this. But time and consistency with those decisions that are working for you will be the best thing to get you on track. Thank you so much for joining us today. I always appreciate the fact that you guys take a little bit of time out of your afternoon to join in our community conversation. Please make sure that you are doing the work and you're paying attention to the signs and signals that your body is sending you so that you have an opportunity every day to wake up looking and feeling your best and living your most authentic life. I'll see you guys back here on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget, if you want to jump into our intermittent fasting for today's Aging Woman course, our next course starts on August 1st. Our registration is open. Links can be found in the description boxes below. Have a good afternoon.